What's up, people? How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Jackson versus Jackson. Today I wanted to take a look at the Texans hiring of DeMeco Ryans. Okay. Specifically, uh three things related to the DeMeco hiring. Number one, uh DeMeco as a black coach and the fit with the Texans organization. Number two, him being a former player, similar to the Titans hiring Mike Vrabel. And three, uh, him being a defensive coach versus hiring an offensive coach. I want to touch on those three things regarding DeMeco Ryans hiring and go from there. So my thoughts on the hiring, I think it was a really good hire. Uh, I really enjoyed him as a player, as a coach with the 49ers. He's proven that he knows what to do with when he has good pieces around him. You know, it's yet to be seen what he know if he knows what to do, building a defense, uh, or maybe a defense as bad as the Texans. Because I don't think when he first got to San Francisco and he was there for, I want to say, 6 years, that they were ever as bad as the Texans. But the Texans defense has some nice pieces. So they don't have any defensive player of the year caliber pieces, but they do have some nice pieces. So I look forward to seeing what he can do with that. Let's talk about him as a black coach. Uh Man, so this is a tough topic because uh he deserves it, and he deserves any opportunity he gets. He had multiple opportunities, and he chose the Texans in part because he played here, or maybe fully because he played here and he knows the organization. But this is the same organization that had an owner that made a controversial racist statement uh, regarding uh, not letting the prisoners uh, run the prison, so to speak. And so this organization has been, if not labeled racist, has been seen in sort of a light like that for a long time. And let's not confuse David Culley uh, and uh, the coach. Let's not confuse the two previous black coaches that the Texans hired and fired after a year with hiring a long-term black coach to coach the team, because they're not the same. Those two were never in the long-term pick. Those two were never in the long-term plans for this team. And so even an organization uh, that's built on those old white principles could hire a one and done black coach, but it still is a leap for an organization like that, well, that seemed like that, to hire uh, a black coach over a long period of time, and he got a 6-year contract. Now, I never thought that the organization was racist or anything like that, but that is something to that to be thought of, to be mentioned when hiring a black coach for a long period of time. But I take it that their relationship with him uh, had a lot to do with it, them hiring him, just as like his relationship with them had a lot to do with him wanting this job, turning down the Denver job, refusing to interview for a couple of other jobs. So just wanted to throw that out there. Black coach, organization that had an owner that made some uh, racist comments. I still love the hire. I'm glad he accepted the position. Let's talk about him as a former player and maybe how he stacks up with other former players that have gotten head jobs. Yeah, to me, he reminds me definitely of Mike Vrabel in the fact that demeanor, uh, Vrabel I think was a better player, uh, but DeMeco was a better DC. Vrabel was a DC for 1 year, and it was a horrible defense, injury-riddled defense. But he was never seen as a guy trying to that needed to have a great defense to get a head job. It seemed like Vrabel could have gotten a head job off of an assistant coach's position because he was always seen as a leader of men and someone uh, that could get the best out of players, and he's proven to be that at Tennessee. DeMeco has proven to be really good at X's and O's as well. You on that side of the ball, you've really got to. You're leading half the team basically, and you've got to get half the team uh, playing uh, together, playing the way you want them to play, your brand through your vision. And a lot of times, when coordinators are able to do that, it does translate well uh, to the head coach role. A lot of times it doesn't, but uh, just putting it out there, uh, he seems, very equipped to be able to handle that. It's just the other things involved that can, can make or break his head coaching tenure. And that's ownership, that's management, getting along with the GM. From all accounts, right now it's a honeymoon. We'll see how harmonious they are when DeMeco stands on the table for his guy, when the GM stands on the table for his guy, and who budges, who blinks, that type of thing. Who goes to management first, tries to undercut the other. Well, I mean, not who goes to ownership first and tries to undercut the other. You know. Uh, but I see it. Uh, I see his playing background combined with he's a young coach, man, 6 years in the game and already has a head job. That's not a long time, you know. But in these days, they're trying to find that young, awesome uh, coach that can get something turned around quickly and for the long term. And so they're going to always, all these organizations are looking for younger guys quickly who they can, put in these roles, and if they don't work out, they can fire them just as quickly and hire another young guy quickly. That's what they're doing. So hopefully this thing works out with him. Now uh, let's talk about DeMeco as a defensive coach as opposed to an offensive coach. Because as we know, all the jobs go to all the offensive coaches. And all the offensive coaches just happen to be what? White. So uh, most black coaches come up as defensive coaches, which uh, makes it doubly hard to get a head job, you know, because they're looking for offensive coaches, somebody that can develop the quarterback position. They don't see defensive coaches as being able to develop the quarterback position. So then it becomes imperative that a good defensive coach brings in uh, a good to great offensive coordinator. And that's what uh, they are hoping that DeMeco has in Bobby Slowick, who's going to be the Texans offensive coordinator and play caller moving forward. He's from the Shanahan tree, learned under him. And so hopefully we can get the right pieces in here to where he can have an offense that's you know, in the same vein as Kyle Shanahan's offense. And DeMeco, I don't know if he's going to call the defense or not. I think he'll have a coordinator, but I don't know if it'll be in name only or if the coordinator will call the plays. But whatever it is, we've got to get the pieces in place. His pieces, you know. So we'll see how we want to do this thing by who we draft. First of all, with the second pick, and second of all, with the 12th pick. And will we get two offensive pieces? Will we go quarterback first, and then a receiver to help him out? Or will we go a defensive position player first, and then maybe an offensive player with the 12th pick? That'll say a lot about the vision and what way we're trying to take this organization. But the DeMeco Ryans hire, I love it. I think he's the right type of person, the right coach. And so, Houston, Texas, you should be proud. You should be happy. You should be excited because I know I am. I'm Erik T. Jackson. This is another episode of Jackson versus Jackson. And I'm out. Peace.